7 brutally honest Stoic reminders from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. This is my copy, and I have read this almost daily for a decade now, and it's all beaten up, and I follow what is in here. I follow the words of Marcus Aurelius, and some of these are very hard to follow, and some of them are very brutal reminders that will make you question your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own actions. But I can assure you, if you listen to these brutally honest reminders from Emperor Marcus Aurelius, you'll be unrecognizable. The first thing is that your anger is destroying you. And many of you think, like myself, a decade ago, I thought, I'm not angry. Everyone used to always say how calm I was, very placid, never really cared about anything, never got angry. The truth is, I was internalizing that anger, and it was becoming an internal feeling. I was bottling it up, and it resulted in anxiety. It resulted in these horrible feelings of sickness and discomfort. And these sat inside me and made me feel terrible for many years, until I realized that I was getting angry. I was just suppressing it. So you need to understand that you too are probably not using your anger correctly, not understanding your anger. So Marcus Aurelius says, continually review in your mind those whom a particular anger took to extremes, those who reached the greatest heights of glory or disaster or enmity or any other sort of fortune. Then stop and think, where is it all now? Smoke and ashes, a story told or even a story forgotten. At the same time, this whole class of examples should occur to you. Fabius, Catilinus, in his country house, Lucius Lupus, in his town gardens, Sturcinus, at Baia, Tiberius in Capri, Vellius Rufus, and generally any obsession combined with self-conceit. Think how worthless all this striving is, how much wiser to use the material given to you to make yourself, in all simplicity, just, self-controlled, obedient to the gods. The pride that prides itself on freedom from pride is the hardest of all to bear. The next brutally honest reminder is that you are wandering round. You have no aim, you have no direction, and that is leading to your procrastination. That is leading to you making these mistakes because you don't even know where you're going, and as the saying goes, the wind is not favourable to the ship that has no direction. As Marcus Aurelius says, to keep this thought in your own actions, nothing aimless or other than justice herself would have done. In external happenings, either chance or providence is at work, and one should not blame chance or indict providence. First, nothing aimless or without ulterior reference. Second, no reference to any end other than the common good. As Marcus Aurelius says, of course we need aim, but our aim should be in line with the common good of man. The third brutally honest Stoic reminder is that you need to take responsibility. You need to stop blaming others. And Marcus Aurelius puts it beautifully in book 10, where this diary was meant for himself, so it was never meant for anyone else to read it. And he is writing a message to himself. And just listen to this. My soul, will you ever be good, simple, individual, bare, brighter than any body that covers you? Will you ever taste the disposition to love and affection? Will you ever be complete and free of need, missing nothing, desiring nothing, live or lifeless for the enjoyment of pleasure, or time for longer enjoyment, or amenity of place, space, and climate, or good company? No, will you not rather be satisfied with your present state, and take pleasure in all that is presently yours? Will you not convince yourself that all your experience comes from the gods, that all is well and all will be well for you, all that the gods see fit to give you now and hereafter, in the maintenance of that perfect being which is good and just and beautiful, which generates all things, sustains and contains all things, embraces all things as they dissolve into the generation of others like them. Will you ever be such as to share the society of gods and men without criticism of them or condemnation by them? So you have to take responsibility for your own life. You have to take responsibility for your own actions. Stop blaming others. If you want to change the world, look to yourself, change yourself, and the steps that precede will lead you to growth. The fourth honest Stoic reminder is what you do when someone goes wrong. And you need to remind yourself of this because you're probably guilty of making the wrong mistake. You're probably guilty of taking the wrong actions when you see someone make a mistake or do wrong. As Marcus Aurelius writes in Book 10 of the Meditations, if he is going wrong, teach him kindly and show him what he has failed to see. If you can't do that, blame yourself or perhaps not even yourself. This idea is that when you see someone do wrong, most of the times it's because they have this moral blindness and they don't see what they're doing is wrong. If you have the knowledge that someone is doing wrong, then you have the awareness, you have the sight, you can see what they're doing is wrong, so you can also see that you could teach them not to do wrong. So Marcus Aurelius actually takes the blame for not teaching others where they are making faults and mistakes. Because if you do not teach them, they will continue to make these mistakes. And if you're being disturbed by this, then they'll continue to disturb you. The fifth brutally honest Stoic reminder is to stop asking for the impossible. Marcus Aurelius says, whenever you are offended at someone's lack of shame, you should immediately ask yourself, so, is it possible for there to be no shameless people in the world? It is not possible. Do not then ask for the impossible. This person is just one of the shameless, inevitably existing in the world. Have the same thought ready for the rogue, the traitor, every sort of offender. The recognition that this class of people must necessarily exist will immediately make you kinder to them as individuals. The sixth reminder from the Stoics, possibly the harshest and something people will never accept, people will always run away from this, and something, when I understood this, had the most profound impact on my life. This honest reminder is to remind yourself that you will die. The Stoics say, memento mori, remember death or remember you are mortal. All that you see will soon perish. Those who witness this perishing will soon perish themselves. Die in extreme old age or die before your time. It will all be the same. Do not despise death. Welcome it, rather, as one further part of nature's will. Our very dissolution is just like all the other natural processes which life's seasons bring, like youth and old age, growth and maturity, development of teeth and beard and grey hair, insemination, pregnancy and childbirth, an educated attitude to death. Then, there is nothing superficial, or demanding, or disdainful, simply awaiting it as one of the functions of nature. And just as you may now be waiting for your child, the wife carries, to come out of the womb, so you should look forward to the time when your soul will slip this bodily sheath. This reminder of your own death has had the most profound impact on my life. When I walk to the shops, when I'm on a bus, when I'm anything, I just remind myself, I will soon die. I don't know when, but I will soon die. And I like to use one of the most profound ways, and it's a visceral image and a visceral reminder, is a memento mori life calendar. It's just all your weeks numbered in white squares, and every week that goes, you fill it out with a black square. And every time you fill out a black square, it feels like such a reminder of the week that just passed, and you can review it and think, what did I waste? What did I do wrong? What did I do right? And then the unfilled square, you can think, how will I change towards this? And every time you look at it, it just reminds you that you are mortal. Final honest reminder from the Stoics, according to Marcus Aurelius, is to surrender, which sounds like counterintuitive. To get strength, you must surrender. As Marcus Aurelius says, gladly surrender yourself to Clotho. Let her spin your thread into whatever web she wills. So Clotho was the youngest of the three fates, and Clotho would write out your life and ultimately write out your death. But the Stoics had the understanding of accepting your fates. They believed it was Zeus's will, the way your life worked, the way it portrayed out for you. You know, it's like dice that have been pushed and they're falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. And when you surrender to this and accept the things that happen in life, and as the Stoics say, amor fati, you love your fate, then there is no resistance to any of this. You're not resisting your fate. You know, Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, had a great analogy for this. It was the dog tied to the wagon. And he said that if the wagon is fate, it's unstoppable. It's moving at a pace and it will never stop. It goes at this pace. And there is a dog tied to this wagon. And the foolish dog will kick its heels, fight, resist fate. It will resist the wagon, try to stop the wagon. And inevitably, it does nothing. It doesn't stop the wagon ever. It just causes distress amongst itself, hurts itself. The wise man, or the wise dog in this case, will just walk at a pace along with the wagon. A gentle pace with fate. And as Cleanthes, the second head of the Stoic school, said, some are led by fate while others are dragged by fate. Do not be dragged by fate, because fate will lead you where it needs to go. If an accident happens, an event happens, a situation, the storm happens outside your window, fate will lead you there. But you can choose how to react to this. That's within your power. So hopefully these brutal reminders help you grow as much as they've helped me. You know, in a decade of understanding Stoicism, it's took me a long time. It's took me a decade because I didn't know where to look. But I've condensed this, and that's my goal with the Everyday Stoic, is to condense the Stoic teachings. I've read all the literature multiple times. As you can see with the meditations, I just want to show you what a page of, I mean, it's hard to hold up to camera, but that's what a page of my book looks like. Because if I'm working out, if I'm sat at home, anything, I would just write little notes in it and take note of this. And I do this with all the Stoic literature. And I've condensed this, I've made it practical, I've simplified it, I've modernized it for you. Because I want it to help you as much as it's helped me, because I know it can. And I can imagine a world where more people understand the teachings of Stoicism to be a pretty great world. And hopefully that has a global reach. So, thank you for watching. If you want more of this, follow me on Instagram at TheEverydayStoic, or my own page at MulliganBrothers, where I share mostly Stoicism, but I share other things as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video. The post was on about the Memento Mori poster. You can get that on the Everyday Stoic site. It supports what I do. It makes me being able to make these videos a lot easier, and means I can do bigger projects. And I just appreciate it. It's very helpful, powerful. You look at it daily and you're like, wow, that's my time ticking away. So thank you for watching.